Unironically, I enjoy chapters like this. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know people want big thing to happen, scary thing to happen, crazy thing to happen. I agree. I love that stuff too. But when it comes to mellow, slow, barely moving type of chapters, I'm comfortable with them. I've come to appreciate how Fujimoto tends to write them because they give you a little bit of everything, a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a starting point for what's to come. I can fully understand why people do not like this though. Compare this type of weekly reading to anything else you're perhaps reading and it is almost night and day. To that, I say that Fujimoto is not writing a weekly story, he's just writing a story crammed into the weekly format, which for those of you might make a lot of sense. For others, you might be a little bit confused. Why write a weekly story if you can't write a weekly story? Truthfully, Fujimoto is a bit of an oddity. A lot of his weekly reading doesn't really fit in a common weekly format, and that's not to say that he's doing anything revolutionary or never been done before. It's just his style. It's a little bit unorthodox and uncanny, and the word uncomfortable is commonly used. All of his stories have points where things feel uncomfortable to read, but only in the weekly format. You read it in volume or you read it in bulk. How it feels like it was written, it makes a lot more sense. Generally, you could also chop that up to being, well, you're reading it in volume or in bulk or in one succession. Of course, it's going to be smoother. Funny enough, not always. It is very much dependent on the author. You've probably read a lot of people that write 2 volumes. They end big climatic things to the volume structure even though they're releasing a weekly manga. If any of you are reading Choujin X, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not a weekly manga, but definitely written in a completely different way that is very much unorthodox. To be fair though, circumstances, night and day. I don't want to sit here and protect Fujimoto or overly glaze him because I tend to do that quite often. I just feel comfortable with these chapters that really don't do anything, that feel like a downtime, that feel like they're setting up the pieces for everything to come. If you hate it, dislike it, don't approve, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to sit here and try and change your mind. But what I am going to do is over-explain and over-elaborate because why not? It's what I always do. I really enjoy the opening of this chapter. The weird sincerity of Fami is what gets me. I love her character and she's only been in the story for a handful now. I like this type of character design, playing the opposite, thematically backwards. It's common for Fujimoto and it makes sense and it aligns itself nicely with all of his other characters. Fami is pathetic, a loser, very uncomfortable and anxiety driven. It feels funny to say that a horseman of death, the famine devil, is trying to spread terror by throwing rocks at people. In any other story, in any other context, that just doesn't make sense. But when you attach Tatsuki Fujimoto to it, makes sense. She has a presence about her that is genuinely rather suffocating because you can't help but feel bad that she sucks at what she does, but she's so confident that she can accomplish it. You know what I mean? Like seeing her try and brawl fake chainsawman a handful of chapters ago was hilarious because she had all of this knowledge and all of this idea, yet none of it worked. So she's confident enough to try, but very quickly spirals into anxiety when it never works. This is one of those situations. But then you get a nice little big sister moment type of thing with Falling, kind of squishing her cheeks together and showing her how it's meant to be done. And Falling isn't playing around either. She's not causing outright mayhem or destruction, she's causing terror. And that's the goal. That's what they're trying to accomplish. They want to build up that terror so Death's awakening can be somewhat controllable, which is the whole point right now. If you're a little bit confused about what Death is trying to accomplish, I'll simplify it for you. Death is going to awaken one way or another. Originally, we did not know what that would look like, how that would be possible. So the running idea is that Death would awaken because of war. War provokes terror. And Yoru, being this sinister, playful, does whatever she wants and invokes a lot of terror on humans, that would make the most sense. Yoru and Denji are kind of being playful at the moment, going around and doing their own thing, but on a switch of a dime, Yoru can take it too far, can be too playful, can ravel within her own terror and destruction because that is what she loves. It's what provokes happiness. She also likes to cause that anxiety or misery upon Denji to see how he reacts. She finds that adorable, cute, to tease him that way. So Death's response to this is to take it into her own hands. Instead of the awakening being something that is uncontrollable, that it will happen regardless, instead perhaps she will try to control it, to either see, feel, or react to when the awakening is happening due to her own hands. Automatically, that puts her at a much better position. If Death Awakening is going to happen regardless, why not try to control it yourself so you can put all of the players in the right position for you to be taken out? There is an issue in that getting rid of Death is not really easy. We need powerful hitters, and the two powerful hitters in vicinity and perhaps capable of doing it is, you guessed it, Yoru and Denji. But it leads you to another question. Would they actually help? How do you explain this type of situation to them? You don't. Instead, you make it a threat. You make it a wall that something like Denji has to scale over. But still, Yoru is the curveball. I don't think Death knows how War is going to act, what she plans to do. It's part of the reason why I think fake chainsawman is there to begin with, to kind of contort the situation as much as possible, to put thoughts, ideas, and words into Denji's head to potentially fight War head on. But something happened. War done it herself, killing an innocent civilian that Denji saved. That annoyed him, that ticked him off, and now it puts them at odds end, like they're about to fight, like they're about to throw down. There's no way that Death could predict something like this could happen this directly, this way. But it might also just be a part of her plan in general, to prod and provoke this type of response where they fight each other. This might sound all a little bit confusing, but it starts to clear itself up when you realize that regardless of the outcome of these two, you're getting something strong. If Yoru were to defeat Denji, Yoru gets control of full armor Pochita, and she wants to kill Death. So as long as Death is kind of in the position to be killed at the right place at the right time, I'm sure that can work out kind of smoothly. The issue is that Yoru would probably go on a rampage after and cause the, Age of Devils, War, Terror, etc., etc. So the hope is that there's something in play to stop that from happening. Kishibe? Copium? Yoshida? Copium? We don't know. The alternative is that Denji does get the upper hand on War and produces full armor Pochita. How we get to Pochita, I'm not entirely sure. I would say Naruto would be the best bet. And you're probably like, well, she's dead. I do not think so. Seeing how Death controlled Fami and fake chainsawman so easily, also having falling a part of her arsenal, it is very much believable that she perhaps also has control under her belt. She was there when it happened. Baron was also the one to serve it, who works under Death. It was on a sushi platter. Death doesn't have to, but likes to eat them out of respect. Those characters fall under her control, and so forth. Death utilized Naruto the first time. Why would she not use it again? If the one thing to pull Pochita out, to make Denji lose control of his human self, Naruto is kind of needed. And it aligns perfectly that she is being controlled by Death. In this case, Death obviously has leverage, but option. The one before, with Yoru wielding Denji, okay. But the other is getting Yoru out of the picture. If Yoru is the original reason why terror starts to form regardless, prior to Death's involvement, taking her out of the picture could either completely remove the awakening process that would originally be quote-unquote inevitable, or slow it down dramatically. For Death to do that, she needs Denji, and she needs Pochita. So to get back into Denji, she uses Naruto, and then pits both Denji and Yoru against each other. So far for me, that's kind of the picture being painted. It might sound a little bit confusing or all over the place, but I think Fujimoto can clean it up really well and just streamline the whole process. He's given us basically everything we need. There's just certain elements or questions that we really need answers for, and eventually we will get them. The mismatch is Pochita, if or when he perhaps comes out to play again. how serious does Yoru take this? How much involvement does Death want to have? But then also exterior factors, people like Yoshida or Kishibe Copium or even Kobeni, or like the power scenario as well. There's a lot of story threads that I wish Fujimoto would go down, but I'm slowly losing faith within. I would like to see power, and there is a way for that to make sense. It just wouldn't be perhaps as emotionally fulfilling as I would like it to be. But then again, since the beginning we've been told that it would not be the same person, but still, I really would love to see how Denji would react. That the promise that he made to Power and becoming friends with the new Blood Devil. It feels almost completely out of picture, like it's impossible, but I hope, my fingers are crossed, that we get something for it. And that's just one of the major things of many that I would like to see. At the end of it though, I do think we're in for a good experience, and I'm curious to see how long a final arc looks like when you get chapters like this. So hopefully it goes well.